Hello YouTube, this is A Script Master here, back with more Cardfight Vanguard. Today we're playing some Shadow Paladins because they're cool, and also because Dragruler Phantom. And Dragruler Phantom is actually working out pretty well. I mean, people have been like, OMG, it's like the first burn card in existence, so it's like OP, right? No, it's not OP. It's the kind of guy which promotes endgame. It's one of those push for endgame stuff, and if you have a perfect guard in your hand, you're going to take the first initial push, which almost always will also be break ridden, and well, you're just gonna take it and nothing more will be said, and ultimately it's just going to be like, oh, there's Mordred, and in the end it's like you live his push and then you have to just stay at 5 damage. It's a good card, it's a good comeback card, so to speak, but it's not if you're behind on damage, because suddenly they have to guard everything when they initially could have taken a few hits, but other than that it's just like, oh, he has the Doreen. Oh man. So he's gonna swing 14. I'm gonna put guard on here because I'd rather be suddenly 4 damage than lose my masquerade and stuff. At this point in the game anyways. So here's Mordred. I have no boosters, which is naturally going to make me very sad. He's not gonna guard, and we're gonna check Dorint. Yay boosters. And Dark Bond Trumpeter. Yay boosters. Let's attack again. I want to get him as close to 4 damage as possible so I don't have to sacrifice that many rear guards to make my push. So here's Amon. And another Hellstraw. And he's going to attack, and we're going to guard, because there's no point not to. And I'm kind of fearing the crit, so we're going to guard this too. And drop a trigger. It's totally worth it, guys. Especially when we're playing Amon. So here's 21, and which we can take, in fact. And we're gonna even get a heal trigger for our efforts. Alright. Stand and draw, and we get to break ride our Dragruler Phantom. Alright. Nice and powerful. And even though it's not a Revenger, which means I cannot sacrifice it, we're going to choose Black-Winged Swordbreaker. It gains 5,000 power. Why? Well, because I can Soul Blast and draw. And oh my, is Soul Blast and draw not awesome? It totally is. We're going to use this to get another Freezing Revenger. Then we're going to Limit Break and have him take a damage. And he loses Psychoglaive. I don't have enough Counterblast to use this one though. which is problematic. What I could do though is I could sacrifice Masquerade and play Mordred Phantom in its place, and it actually would work pretty well. Yeah, let's do that. Oh. Actually, let's sacrifice Mordred Phantom. Take another damage, so you're at 5. And he's gonna lose Psychoglaive. And we're gonna call Dorant. I should call him in the front, but Now, odds are, though, he will have a perfect guard. If he doesn't have a perfect guard, pretty sure he loses, actually. I'm keeping this because that way I can hit magic numbers. He doesn't! Oh! The pain! And that's game! That magic number coming in clutch. Although I really should have put it here, but that's always the problem with Dark Irregulars. They hit hard, but they usually don't have too much when it comes to guarding, because they don't have too much of an advantage engine, which most other clans, Royal Paladins, Shadow Paladins, even Spike Brothers to an extent, Gold Paladins, Great Natures, Neo Nectars, they all have Oracle Think Tanks, Genesis, they all have some sort of advantage engine. Pale Moons, oh, not Et Rangers, but Et Rangers are a whole different can of worms. So that's always been the balancing factor of Dark Irregulars. Dark Irregulars are still fun. Actually, their advantage engine, and this actually won one of the games, one of the tournaments in Japan, was was a deck with 4 Gwyn the Rippers and 4 Bloody Calfs, which their advantage engine was retiring the opponent, and then instead of hitting for big numbers, they just retired, kinda like how Kagero does. That's Kagero and Narukami's advantage engine, the retiring factor. But because he was using Amon and Amon Reverse, the guy who won, I think it was the Chico, well, it was like the Chico tournament, the Chico regionals in Japan, or Chino, or I don't know, I'm just saying this off the top of my head, but because he had Amon Reverse, he had the retire factor, which it was expensive because, you know, it's Counterblast 2, but he also had Amon Reverse and Amon, which were the big power pushes, which as a general rule is something that, say, Kagero lacks. Narukami has Tempest Bolt Dragon now, but and screw Tempest Bolt, but like that's the idea. There was huge pushes and a combination of huge pushes, criticals, and retirement, and it won, but it's still pretty high cost, so like standard Dark Irregulars that just are using big pushes are balanced by their lack of defense. So if you can make a big push, and they don't have a perfect guard. Perfect guards are always a thing that then yeah. I'd say though, this thing, if your opponent has a perfect guard and they only need 1 for this, you're usually going to use this skill the turn you break ride, I say, because you want to force them to 5 damage as fast as possible. Well, the idea is if you cannot push them to 5 damage, then you might hit them once, and then you could probably do it the turn after, and I'm not sure how you would play it, but it's generally limited to 1 push, big push, 2 if you're lucky, simply because if you want to attack the turn you break ride, then they'll usually, if they're low on damage, they'll usually take it. But the main thing that keeps this guy good, so to speak, is his cross ride. The damage is nothing special other than suddenly you're at 5 damage, please guard all the attacks. But other than that, it's still very... It's like Phantom Blaster Overlord, except it's like giving everything a theoretical critical instead of just one unit, which they'd have to guard anyways, even if they were at 3 damage. Anyways, this has been A Script Master of Team Fairy Tail. Subscribe for more content, and signing out.